So we are up to here that how to create our own custom components like this. But what about the dynamicness? Uh, like in our material design or bootstrap, they are having multiple style like success, warning, danger, that kind of properties. So for that, let's create one more parameter over here in text. Then what we need, let's say type. Here is the second property like that. Okay. So, and here I'm going to say button dash in curly braces. Here I'm going to say it's very simple. Let's keep it is as it is based on this. Okay. So here is a type. Let's say here I'm going to add type and say primary, and if I'm going to say success, here I'm going to say error. These are the types, right? Based on the type I have to change the UI. So it will change nothing actually, it will be like the same, nothing will be changed. So let's jump to our code based on this type. The first thing that I will create the class name dynamically based on this variable name. So first thing, I don't know whether it will work or not. Button plus type, I think it will work. Instead of this, the best approach is, let's say, constant style. Don't say constant, constant is fixed. Let's say constant style is, let's say, background color is equal to sky blue. Okay. So if type is equal to, what is our first word, primary, then what, copy paste. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just change this color. If it is primary, let's say yellow, and if it is else, if it is, what is second, success, then let's say green, and if it is error, then change it to the red, and just apply this b style to this component, then say style in that bracket our apply our style. So let's say this is our primary, this is our success, this is our awesome guys. So we can create our own components like this. And once you start doing this activity, once you build your own components, that is quite easy. So suppose if requirement comes here you want hover effect, or this, if you want to change this cursor, quite easy, just you will go here and you will simply say cursor is equal to pointer, simple, that's it. And here you will find the pointer. So no need to mention any border over here, that is also fine. And say border radius is equal to from all side 10 pixel, means they all are rounded like this. So this is an example, but this is a small example, basic example of how to use how to create reusable components and how to use these parameters. That's it. So the good developer, they always approach toward the big project by by splitting that big project into the small modules. Small modules is quite easy to handle, right? So let's say if you are planning to design Instagram application, the first approach, you will split that application in small modules like registration, login, search, chatting, like this kind of modules. Then again, for registration you will split that module into sub module like UI designing, validation, then API integration, testing, all this stuff. So that is the basic approach towards the development. The same thing I did. I created my own component and I integrated into in our own applications. So uh, the purpose to explain everything is that this is the component that is given by Material UI, and how they created this. This is an example. They created this the way we created my button, the same way they created this text field. So for to use our component, what we did, we added that my button in our input section, and then we added some parameter like text type. The same thing, text field, they have label, then they have some more attributes like this. So if you want to learn the proper concept about component, just go through this website, Material UI, and try to understand these properties like ID, and where you will find all these attributes. There is API section. Here it is, text field API, like this. Here you will find all the attributes related to that text field. Here it is. Oh man, here it is. So text field has autocomplete string. Here is the description. Autofocus, classes, color is primary or secondary, default value any. This all the these all are the properties that we can use in the text field. And so whatever component you are using, let's say tooltip, just go through all the API properties. You want arrow true or false, like all these classes or attributes they have. So this is quite interesting. Then what we did, we started to learn about validation part. So I already explained this is very important library, guys, for who I mostly in most of the examples I saw this library they are using for validation, because this supports full customization. You can create your own validation rules, your own validation functions and everything. You can fully customize it, and that's the best part. And also we can customize UI also. That's why try to do more practice based on this. So what I did, I simply, I think I in that video already explained you. Here is the site React hook form. Yeah, here is getting started. Yeah, and here is the npm install that library, and how to use it, like register, give some name. So now no need to mention ID, name, anything over here. So this is your ID, this is your name, this is your reference. That's it. Everything is this, like this. So register and whatever the name you want, whatever identification for that control you want. But remember that that must be a unique in the page, that section. So here is our first text field, name, and label is something like, and here is the rules, like required, true, and what message you want. Sorry guys. Same thing, required, true, message. Then pattern, already explained this. I think this is regular expression. uh, Regular expressions means, if you remember that DFA, definite automata concepts, we pass input string to this grammar. If it goes to the final state, this means success. If it goes to dead state, this means rejected. Same way, if whatever text we have in that text box, and if we compile that input text with this grammar, if it goes to final state, this means it is valid, otherwise it will show error. So this is pattern. And I usually try to Google it and copy and paste it, but try to understand it, what it mean by this. Plus means one or more, star means zero or more. This is basic thing, guys. So yes means string, D means digit, and this is if errors, then helper text errors. This question mark means uh, we are not sure whether we are having this email attribute in errors or not. So if it is null, skip, ignore the next part, means ignore this part as well as this part. So this is optional, this means optional. So let me explain this part as well. I think I forgot to explain. So what it mean, so this is shortcut. What is long cut? If errors, and oh man, error start email, and errors dot email message, then errors start email dot message. So this means if we have error is not null, then errors dot email is not null, then errors dot email dot message is not null. Then and only then show this part. So in short, we can simply write like this. I'm sure error it will be never it will, so we can skip this part, but I'm not sure about this email and email dot message. So that's why error, I'm sure there is an object. Error is an object. It will never become undefined or null. But this is not sure whether it is having email as attribute or not. So instead of showing some bugs, raising any bugs, let's first trace whether it is null or not. First check whether it is null or not. So this is a shortcut for that. If an email is available, then try to fetch message. Otherwise, it will simply ignore that part. So, and here is one more interesting part. Mm, So just go to validation, try to find this attribute required. Then what we have pattern. Then what we have validate. This is very important. This is actually custom function. If the current input value is equal to password value, get value is an attribute, is an API function of that library. If both the values are equal, then it's fine. Otherwise, guys, do you know what it mean by or and? So let's say if you are saying uh, in C what you are doing in C, if A is equal to B, then print A equal to B, this, right? And let's say in short, if I want to execute this in JavaScript, what I will do, I will simply say A is equal to B, and I will simply add this part over here. That's it. So guys, and means both must be the true, right? So if first condition get false, means A is not equal to, means first condition is false, so it will not going to check this second condition. So it will only execute this condition only and only if the first condition is true. So this means this code and this code is same. So if this is true, then execute this. The same thing I did, this and this. So instead of writing this much code, I'm just trying to use this and an or operator. So what does this mean? This is very interesting. Let's try to debug this. Okay, this is favorite interview question actually. So this is or. Or means either one of them must be zero, either 1 0 or 0 0 1. If it is true, it is not going to check whether this is true or not. So let's say if it is true, it will not execute this part. So this means if value and password, means confirm password and password is same, so it is not going to show this message because already this condition is true, right? So it will ignore this second part. But if it is false, then it will go to check whether it is true or not. And this will under logically this will always return the true, because this is not a condition, this is a statement, right? Same thing here, it is the statement. So this is condition. So always use condition. If this is false and if you want to execute this, then use or. If it is true and you want to print or execute something, then use and. Instead of writing 2 line of code, use single and logical statement. It is more readable. Hope you got my point. And this is all about the errors library. So just within 1 minute, I'm going to explain you. So guys, our plan of execution is to register user. So tomorrow I'm going to create API, register user, login user. These two API I'm going to create, and I'm trying to actually going to, when user click on register button, I'm going to save the data into the database. So tomorrow I'm going to take Node.js part. Then my work is to just integrate that API with our React app and test whether it is working or not. So yeah, so this week the mostly registration and login part and API integration and Node APIs that I'm going to cover. Node API part is already covered in our previous sessions. Sorry, Express.js sessions. So I'm going to use same code over here as it is. But yes, from tomorrow I'm going to start register user, and that's it.